I teach English, language arts, and science at Jones Ford Elementary in Knott County. I taught for about 15 years and taught science much of that time, in 4th grade. Over that period of time, I've had much success with science scores, having been #1 several times in the state with old standards, but all that kind of scared me a little bit with the change in next generation science standards. So it really made me think, okay, now things are so much different. Engineering, technology, all this science and math together. How am I going to keep my scores up? How are my students going to learn these skills that they need to learn? And so when the opportunity came for me to write this grant, I thought, what is one thing that I really need to get from it? And obviously it was materials for my science classroom. So I know that they're called next generation science standards, but I thought, well, what about science for our generation? And so I began to think about things that I could do that would hit all of these learning targets that I would have for my science classroom, and what kind of materials I needed in order to be able to do those. And so I wrote this grant to use these ARI monies to purchase materials for certain projects that we always do in my classroom anyway, but this money will just afford us the opportunity to do them better. So I have, there are many projects that materials can be purchased for, but I chose to sort of demonstrate 3 here. And one of them is earthquakes in the classroom. And we have all seen times before you may have done it or saw someone do building structures in the classroom using spaghetti and miniature marshmallows, maybe sometimes those little cough drops. And we're going to hold to that same scheme. However, they are going to build it on a foundation of Jell-O. And then we will hold the pan up and simulate an earthquake. And then, of course, we will predict how our structures will hold up. And then we will be able to observe what happens during the earthquake. And then talk about our design and our engineering design for the structure that we built, and maybe how we should have built it differently to get better results. Another one is engineering for the 3 little pigs, and I've done this at the beginning of the year, this year already, but in a nutshell, what it is kids are given different materials and different directions to build 3 houses, which are actually cups full of sand. But one cup has much more water, and it's very fine sand, and just a little bit of glue, and then as it progresses to the last cup, it has rocks and gravel, and not as much water and more glue. And so students then make predictions based on which house they think will hold up the best in wind, we'll use fans, or water, and by placing bricks, by placing weight on it. And the results surprised the students actually at the beginning of the year when we did this in my classroom. And so the next step is they have to discover why things happened the way they did and why the results were as they were. Another one that I have not done, but that I've always wanted to do and could not do because of materials, is the solar oven. And I just always thought that kids would enjoy that so much. And so we're going to make s'mores after we build our solar oven. There are materials like insulation and black duct tape and plexiglass and all of that that I could never get parents to bring in. And that's why I haven't done it. But students will be designing their own solar oven and building it completely. I'm going to allow them to research and design it on their own. Everything we do in my classroom is group work mainly, whether it's in reading or whether it's in writing or science. We have home bases that the students work in, and they know where their teams are. They have team roles, and so by now they work pretty well together. And so each person will have a job and responsibility, and research what they think materials should best be used to build their solar oven, build it, record the temperatures throughout the day. We'll have them like there at school and see which solar oven actually performs the best. These projects are graded based on rubrics that the students helped me create prior to the actual activity.